What do you think about drones?
Drones are sexy.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Justin Davis from Drone Camps RC. I got something new from Banggood to show you today. It's the LISAMRC Keel 270. Super cool. I'm gonna break it down on the bench for you in just a second. Then we're gonna go outside and give this thing a flight test. Coming up next. Okay guys, here we are with something new from Banggood.com. This is a LISAMRC FPV Keel 270. It has 6-inch props on here, 2204 motors, 12 amp BL Heli ESCs from 2 to 4S on there. We're gonna fly this 3S. I have a 3S battery that's ready to go in here. It's already all set up, programmed. The radio's set up. We use the Tyrannus Plus and a Tyrannus receiver on this. You can bind it up to whatever receiver you decide. Inside the box, there's some other stuff I'm gonna show you, but it pretty much comes just like this out of the box. So you don't have to do any building, which is very nice for the new guys. You get an extra set of props in the box as well, and you get a light instruction manual that is in English. So it goes over proper prop installation, body attachment installations, your canopy that covers the top of it, how you take that on and off. The back of it has a hatchback, so this actually opens up. It also shows you your different cables in here. It shows you your BL Heli one-shot 125 mapping in here, and you can change your settings on here. You can turn on one shot or you can turn it off if you go in the BL Heli software. That's pretty cool. It also comes with a 40 channel 5.8 gigahertz video transmitter, and it has all of your frequencies here. It does feature a push button on the transmitter, so if you want to put a screwdriver in here and change the channels, you can do that. Make sure you cover this in heat shrink because it is a bare video transmitter. You can change the channels if you do that, so you're probably not going to short it out if you cover it up. Now the CC3D, it's a micro CC3D that comes with it. We chose to take that off for our flying. So we have this here, and we're going to set this to the side. We put a Flip 32 on there for our flight demonstration, but you can definitely use this if you feel like setting this up on the micro CC3D, no problem there. So I'm going to put that back in the box. It also came with some stickers. You have different color stickers you can put down the side of your canopy, give it a little more flair. But overall, I have to say I did get to fly this, and it flies very, very well. It's very, very smooth in horizontal mode and very, very smooth in acro. So I could probably do some more PID tuning on this and have it fly a little more aggressively, but right out of the box, we didn't do any PID tuning yet. Hooked it up with clean flight, and it's flying great right off the bat. So this is my first 6-inch version of a quad, so I'm very impressed with the 6-inch flying characteristics. Now this is a really nice looking quad. I did want to mention though about the camera real quick. This is a 700 TVL, so if you have some fat sharks or some kind of goggles that will go up to 800 TVL, a nice higher resolution, it's a really nice camera that comes on here, so I do like that about it as well. But the overall design is really, really nice. I do like the hatchback design. The way you open up the hatchback is there's a little thumb screw here, and you can turn it and it'll just come right out. And then you can open up the hatchback to put your battery in. Really nice flat profile in here, and plenty of room for a 2 to 3S battery. I have not put in a 4S yet. I think you might have to do a little bit of trimming here on this frame to get this get a 4S battery on this frame. So a little bit tight, but I did use sort of a larger receiver up inside here. So if you use a small receiver, you can probably get a little bit of a bigger battery in there, and you might have to trim off part of the frame there. And also I wanted to show you really quickly that it does accept a Mobius in the very front, and that just slides right in to place and kind of locks into place. You could probably put a little something under your Mobius, like a piece of foam, to keep it from vibrating too much, because it does move just a little tiny bit in here, but really not a whole lot, mostly vertical. So if you want to put a little piece of foam underneath this, that'll secure it in place and have a nice solid video when you're flying. So I stuck my Tyrannus receiver right up in there. It's the D8R2. And that fits right up inside. I just use a little bit of piece of Velcro in there and that works just fine. And then I have my antennas coming out the back. We used a couple zip ties on the back with some heat shrink, and that keeps them away from the props. Just plenty of clearance back there, no problem there. So I would recommend putting your receiver right up in this area here, up inside the hatchback. And keep your wire way out in front of your battery, off to the side, so that you don't have your battery eject forward and take out this receiver wire right here. So make sure that's out to the side of your battery. So let's go ahead and weigh it now that it has the receiver on there, and I have a 3S 1300 mAh battery in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and set that on the scale and see what we get here. As far as weight, looks like 507. I don't know if you can see that on the video. Right about 507, so there you go. So this one is over the FAA weight of 250 grams, so you might want to slap your registration sticker somewhere on this, your registration number, while you're flying it. I would also recommend putting some zip ties over top of these ESCs. It does have slots on both sides of the ESC, so you can do that. Another recommendation for this quad would be to put a little piece of Velcro in between where it can possibly come in contact with this frame, because you don't want your ESCs shorting out. So I noticed there was nothing underneath here, and it makes me a little bit worried about that, so I just put a little piece of Velcro underneath there, very simply, to keep it from coming in contact with the frame for my power source. Okay, just a couple last comments before we go test fly this thing. I gotta say, I really like the overall design of this. I like the hatchback, that we can lift this up. I've seen some other quads out there that don't have that have this over the top design. You kind of have to stick the battery in the side and get your Velcro around your battery. So that's a really nice feature. I do like the fact that it has a higher res camera on it and 6-inch props. We can also fly 5-inch on this if we wanted to, but later on I'm going to throw some tri-props on here, so it's going to fly even better and have a little more punch. Out of the box with the stock props, 6-inch props, on 3S there's a ton of punch in the throttle, so if you want to do some nice punch outs and go full throttle up, it'll just really, for a freestyle machine, I think this is going to be a nice freestyle quad. So one thing I did want to mention was that the hole in the front is designed for a Mobius, so your run cam is not going to fit in there, just to let you know. The overall design is very sleek from the side. One thing I do have to mention about it though, on the very bottom we noticed that there is some kind of this is where your battery terminals come out the bottom. I would highly suggest covering this up with some liquid tape, because you don't want these exposed on the bottom of this PDB. If you land in wet grass, you might short out your PDB or your quad, so you definitely want to cover this up. I think what we're going to do for temporary, and it's probably not going to be super crash worthy, is probably take a little liquid tape and fill up the lens cap, an extra lens cap I have, and it fits directly over top of there. So or we can just put some liquid tape here over top of those. You could take a Dremel also and Dremel it off, but I don't really recommend dremeling on a PDB. But that's a minor issue for the quad. For the price, this is a really nice priced quad. Under $180 is an ARF model. So add your battery and receiver and your radio and you're ready to fly. So let's go outside now and do some flight testing. Hey guys, here we are with the Keel 270, and I'm about to give it a test fly. I'm gonna do a line of sight test on this, and I'm gonna record some onboard footage for you as well, so you can see what's going on the copter as I fly it around. I'll fly it momentarily in acro, just from line of sight. It's not gonna do any flips today because I don't have it PID tuned, and I'm not flying directly in my goggles. So I got my goggles along for a ride a little later, but right now we're gonna do a line of sight test. Also, you're probably noticing that I don't have the canopy on it right now. There's a reason for that. It's one, so I can get to my Mobius to push stop and start. Also, so I can get back here. If someone else comes to the field and they wanna fly, I can switch my channel here without having to get in there with a screwdriver. I just wanna have everything very accessible for the flight demo. The canopy does look really, really nice on it, but for now we're just gonna fly it without the canopy on there. Also, I wanna mention, make sure you don't lose your thumb screw or forget to put that on there before you fly. So let's go ahead and get this Keel 270 off the ground. I've got a light battery in there, so I won't fly for too long. We'll go ahead and arm it now. Just want to look left and right before you take off most times.
so no one's near you. So I'm gonna arm it. And I'm gonna test the fail-safe real quick. So I'm gonna bring it down. I wanna show you guys something. I probably wouldn't try this at home, but I'm gonna test this fail-safe real quick by arming it, turning on my throttle, cut the radio off. So okay, the fail-safe is tested and it is ready to go. So when I turn my Tyrannus back on now, I'll get full control again. Don't try that at home. So the point is that if you're flying and you lose signal from your copter, it's gonna remember the last throttle input. So if you're at half throttle or 3/4 throttle, it's gonna fly off on you. So before you fly any of these racer quads, you wanna make sure that you have your fail-safe set up on your receiver and on your copter in clean flight or in CC3D. Very, very important before you fly anything new. So I'm just gonna double check that this is on nice and tight and we're ready to go. Make sure the Mobius is recording. Still recording. I'm gonna stop that real quick and then I'll start it again. So we were kind of playing around there with the fail-safe. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and arm it and I'm gonna take off. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a range check. I don't wanna fly too far out and lose signal. We don't have too much battery on this one either, so these larger motors, these 2204s, they're gonna eat that battery up pretty quickly, especially if I start pumping the throttle. Because this is a larger quad, so anything 1300 and above is gonna be your best battery for this quad. I would probably recommend 15 to 1800 3S on this quad particularly. And I'm flying around nice and kind of subtle. I'm gonna go ahead now and go into my horizontal mode. So it gives me a little more angle. Still stabilization, but not quite as much. So this could be a really nice freestyle machine, like I said before. It could be a racer, but a lot of guys are racing 250 class racers. So you're probably not gonna be in too many races racing against 250 class unless they, at your field, they just don't mind. But it's very, very smooth flying quad. I can't wait to upgrade this thing to 4S and really, really get some boost out of these motors. These motors are meant to get high power to them. These 2204s are nice. You might want to go up on your ESCs when you go to 4S, just in case. I'd put some 15 amp or aboves on there. I'm gonna go ahead and go into acro. So now I'm flying line of sight in acro, which means I can fly it into the ground, where I can do a half flip. The PIDs aren't tuned yet, so it's not gonna do a full rotation. So you wanna tune PID before you go try to do flips, because clean flight right out of the box is probably not gonna do a full flip. You'll just hit the ground. So I'm gonna come back into horizontal. Okay, I'm in horizontal. Now I'm gonna give it some throttle pumps for you. Show you how awesome those motors are. It really, really wants to haul ass. So you wanna think about your trajectory. If you are in a park and flying and there's people around and you're hitting a really hard throttle and you've got people kind of down the line in front of your quad, you don't really wanna pump it super hard toward people. If you had a problem, it could just cut off and fly into somebody. So keep in mind people around when you're flying. This is a super awesome quad though. I got to say, I really, really like the way it flies. We set it up nicely. It's nice and gentle right now. Whoa. And I look forward to flying it and giving it a little more racing. So it's in acro right now, and you see how it's not like super tight. So if you PID tune it, you're gonna get it a nice tight circle. And most guys won't fly it in acro line of sight like I'm doing right now, because you can definitely drive it into the ground pretty easy because you have no stabilization when you're flying in acro. So that's the Keel 270, you guys. It's a super awesome quad. Mostly, probably best for freestyle and some mild racing on 3S. 4S, it's gonna be a monster. So make sure you set up your fail-safe and have fun, guys. Fly safe. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for hanging out.